Everyone, Del21 here. We're back again. Same day, same deal. We just sort of finished up on the aveo. It runs. It does not run smooth. That could be because I got to figure out where this vacuum line goes. It was not on the car when I got it. And I also don't have the alternator hooked up as well. So that could be also why it's not running right. Some vehicles will run stupid if they don't see the voltage from the alternator. Some vehicles will do that. Some vehicles will drive like normal, like nothing's ever wrong with it until the battery dies. Right now it's burning off a lot of, this is Marvel Mystery Oil and Royal Purple that I had as assembly lube for the valve. For the valves. And I did rotation. I could not get compression with my compression tool. Could not figure out why I was not getting compression. So I just did a check the timing again and did a start and run, and she runs all right. But again, she runs rough. She ran rough for a minute because someone forgot to plug the crankshaft position sensor back in, but you know. But here we go. Let me get in here and I don't have the motor mount in yet. It's actually getting better. I soaked all of the... It's actually gotten really quiet now. I soaked the... Okay, it's actually quieted down and smoothed out. Chevys are really bad about relearning their idles. They're really sensitive about their... God, what do Chevy call them? Their adaptive settings. You screw up pulling the battery and they want to freak out. So that may be what's going on with it. I'm going to leave it as is for right now for the rest of the day because I noticed that there is no power steering fluid. I don't know if they pulled it by accident or what. But there is no power steering fluid, so I have to diagnose that. The car, short of me having to put the timing covers back on, or it's a running and driving car. If you know how to drive a car without, power steering, it's a running and driving car. I just got to button up a couple things, get the accessory belt on. I never did look to see what the mileage officially was on this car because it's past 10 years old, so it's officially exempt. So it doesn't actually come to that. Oh, the car has 81,745 miles on it. Yep, that's all that's on it. I haven't started with the lights on. You guys will be here with me. Even without the motor mount, it idles so smooth. But again, if anybody wants to know the price of this horse, again, this isn't for selling for anybody. I left the lights on. Again, I guess we can look at what the headlights look like because I never did. Oh yeah, it's like the Hyundai. Never mind. The car has to be running for you to see the headlights. I don't have the alternator hooked up, so it may have a safety on it, but I doubt that. But it has to be running to see headlights like the Hyundai did. But even without that motor mount, it runs really smooth. And the car was bought out the door for $475. I paid, let's see, the entire valve kit that came with basically everything that was on this. Excuse the mess. This is not my house. This is my friend's house, and they let me work on cars here because they don't live here. So basically, my mess is limited to, if it's car related, it's mine, pretty much. But it comes in that little box. Doing it the way I did it. None of the seals were leaking, and I was not finna mess with those. These were spare gaskets for the O-rings, for the fuel injectors. That's my wrench. Don't know what it's doing in there. I can't remember which seal that is. I want to say that's the... I doubt that's the rear main seal, but I could be wrong. But, you know, those are your cam seals. You wouldn't be doing this job anyway, but it also came with a water pump gasket in case you had to move that and it didn't act and you screwed that up. But it came with a water pump gasket, new seals for your cams if you're going that far into it, new throttle body O-ring, EGR stuff. It also came with, obviously, your head gasket. It came with new head gasket bolts. It came with, what else I use? Oh, new thermostat O-ring. And what else was it? I'm trying to remember. Intake manifold gaskets, obviously, and valve cover gaskets. All of that came in the kit for $64. So, also, I got, because of how little antifreeze this thing uses, I got 1 gallon of pure antifreeze and 1 gallon of distilled water. And that is fine with it. Altogether, let's see, the water was $2.30. The antifreeze was $9.99. And let's see. That's it. That's all I put forth into getting the car back to running. Now, keep in mind, this does not include stuff with the power steering that I discovered. This is just getting the vehicle to where it could start and move under its own power. Actually, this is just getting it to where it would run. So, that cost me $475 for that, for the car itself. The kit was $64. Antifreeze was let's call it $15, even with tax, and that's all it took. I mean, I also bought the headlight restore kit, but that was optional. It's my brother, so I know he's not going to take care of it, so I'm doing whatever I can now before, you know, whatever. So basically, I'm in this for less than $800 so far. I'm saying $800. I know it's less than $800. I'm saying $800 because I'm also going to have to buy power steering fluid. So, I'm going in with that. So that is what we got so far, and that is what we have. And I really wish that I wasn't in a crunch to try to do this, because I could have showed a play-by-play. There's a special way you have to do the timing on this car. Not the timing itself, but the tightening it. And if you can't get your water pump to move, there's another way you can do it. However, I wouldn't recommend doing it if you're a gorilla. Like, I'm a gorilla myself. But if you're a gorilla and you can't sense when something is getting tight, you shouldn't do it the way I did it. Because the tension was perfect the way they had it. But I didn't remove it. The way I removed it, I went against the book and I removed the timing cams, intake and exhaust. And what that allowed me to do was keep the timing tension on the belt, and all I had to do was put it back that same way. But that's where we're at now. He can't get it anyway because it's got to get put in his name. He's got to get insurance for it. He's got to get be able to drive it, and it's Thursday now. He won't be able to. He goes into orientation tomorrow, so he won't be able to drive it anyway. But I wanted to wholeheartedly get it operational before then. That way, you know, I don't know, you know, I can say, hey, I do have a car for you. So, one last look at the Veo. This is with these two bolts here go up here on that. That's just a brace for your intake. No, I'm wrong. These don't go to that. These go to the intake brace that are behind that. These two bolts here go to the alternator bracket. I don't know where the hell that goes. Those are the only parts I have left. So I do have a little baggie. That's a nut from something else, actually. I do have a little baggie that has the bolts for this in it. It's in the car. But these two bolts here go into the back of that. I don't know where the hell that goes. Actually, I do know where this goes. This used to be one of the the exhaust. Ooh, Jesus. Oh, God. I didn't burn myself on this. I burnt myself on the light. Some good heat behind that light. Really good heat. AutoZone light, guys. Not a sponsor. But again, I got to figure out what it... That may just be an atmospheric line. My years of wrenching on cars tell me that's a lie. That is not just a atmospheric line. I tried pulling vacuum on it myself. It didn't change idle. I tried blowing air into it. It didn't change idle. So I don't know what it does. But as you saw, it runs fine. It idles smooth. No knocking. Believe it or not, no tapping. The belt's still in time. The belt's still good. The one thing I really don't like about cars that timing belts is that timing belts don't really have a guide until you have the cover on it, but you can't really test it with the cover on it. You got to actually, do it with it off. Whereas when you put a timing chain on, it's got guides and everything to help it keep it in place. But if you've done it right, usually the belt stays in place, But I'm going to sign off. I'm going to pack up, clean up, and it's about 4 o'clock now, and I've been at this since 8 o'clock this morning in 32-degree weather. It's like 56 degrees outside right now, which actually is pretty comfortable. I really wish that I was able to finish it. Well, technically I did finish it, but I really wish I had finished it enough where I could put the that explains why it's hot. The cap is not on it. That explains it. Which is down there. But anyway. Oh yeah, it came with new valves and valve seals in that $64 packet. So I am going to sign off, clean up, and head out. Peace.